Biden White House is struggling with messaging from one of its own. Just yesterday, Vice President Harris seemed to suggest that recovery efforts from Hurricane Ian should be based on equity.
It is our lowest income communities and our communities of color that are most impacted by these extreme conditions and impacted by issues that are not of their own making.
And so women.
Absolutely. And so we have to address this in a way that is about giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity.
So now, if you thought that was strange, Harris has made a string of comments lately that aren't doing her any favors.
You need to get to go. I need to be able to get where you need to go. I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. And that's why I do believe that we are living in real unsettled times. So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea.
Oh, man.
Well, that's news. She also went on talking about Venn diagrams for about a minute, but her gaffes have prompted voices that are typically friendly to the left, now suggesting that maybe she shouldn't be on the ticket in 2024.
Once you have that real estate and you wake up in the White House and your office is the Oval, I just don't think you give it up. It's very hard to take the nomination away from the president,
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
sitting president. And what I could see is replacing the vice president, because she's just not very popular anywhere, and it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket. I just think she's a bad politician.
Kamala. All right, Jimmy, a lot to unpack here, but let's start with those equity comments. Well, first of all, she's wrong. Christina Pushaw, Rapid Response Director for Governor DeSantis' campaign, said that FEMA is already giving out assistance. It's not race-based, thank God. But look, hurricanes don't discriminate, so why should FEMA?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You're basically calling mother or birthing person nature a racist in Democratic parlance. This is idiotic, but that's why, if you notice, the crowd did applaud when Bill Maher said we should replace her. This isn't really news on the left, okay? They didn't like her when she ran for president. If you remember, she dropped out before the primaries, which is the equivalent of passing out drunk on New Year's Eve before the ball drops at midnight. She was the one in the bathtub at 9:30 and no one could get into the bathroom. She is a terrible politician, and she's an embarrassment to the country. When you go over to the DMZ, you have one job. You're there to, demonstrate solidarity with South Korea. Okay, so essentially she showed up to Yankee Stadium, started a "Let's Go Red Sox" chant, and now everybody there is pissed, and they should be.
Anita, basically what the Biden administration is saying, though, is that they want discrimination based on race. That's what they're calling for.
Yeah, those comments were very odd and offensive to people, I think, because, listen, people they need basic resources. They need water. They need food. They don't have power. I just think that to suggest that somebody should get that help first because of the color of their skin is offensive to a lot of people. And the comments are just not helpful. And someone from the White House should talk to her about these comments.
But see, Raymond, one thing that I think is sort of funny is there's this message that she's a liability, but then you also have Joe Biden.
Yeah. Well, look. First of all, where was Bill Maher when this candidacy was floated? He should have mentioned this back in 2020. A little late now. But this is Joe Biden's job security. She's not going anywhere. As long as Kamala Harris stays on the scene, Joe Biden has a job, because as bad as he is, she's always worse. Look, this woman has lost more staff than Harvey Weinstein at this point. She can't hold on to anyone in the staff. Every speech sounds like Dr. Seuss with a stroke. It's the same word coming over and over again. You just don't know where this is going or what it adds up to. But I think we have a real crisis when, in the midst of a national tragedy, we're using race to divide people and politics at a time when these people are digging out of their homes, trying to rescue family and pets. This is the last thing she should be doing. She really should just stay home and be quiet.
And Jimmy, you made an excellent point. She didn't make it to the Iowa caucuses.
Right.
She didn't make it to the first
even
contest.
in California,
No,
she was like 5th or something.
She wasn't popular. popular before this whole thing began.
Terrible. The only thing I'll give her points for is at least we have a member of the administration talking to living people. Okay, it is progress. They're not good comments, but at least the people are alive.
But Raymond, do they keep her around, or do they, dispose of her?
Well, I think they'd like to get rid of her. I mean, I hear this from Democratic friends who are consultants. They see the same polling we're seeing. She's drifting. This woman was in single digits during her last run. She's not even popular in her own party or her own state of California. So that's why they need to get rid of her. But at what cost, and who do you put in? And whoever you put, if you put Gavin Newsom in, suddenly poor old Biden looks like, the crypt keeper. They got to get rid of him.
Anita, they knew this when they picked her. I mean, they knew that she couldn't make it to the Iowa caucuses. They knew that she was polling abysmally in her own state where she had been, had been elected statewide. I mean, they knew this.
They did. They knew it. They knew she wasn't popular with their base. But, perhaps they thought they needed a woman, and perhaps they thought they needed a woman of color.
Bill Maher made the important point. Identity politics has to take a back seat now to competency. He's right about that. That is so important, and it's amazing to see people on both sides of the aisle now saying.
And before we get going, I just wanted to say, Florida is now my adopted state, so my prayers are with my fellow Floridians. Governor DeSantis has done an incredible job. You can go to floridadisasterfund.org to donate. I think they've raised $20 million in 48 hours, which is what the governor's office is pushing out. 42,000 linemen on the ground trying to restore that power. So they've done a remarkable job. We're praying for them. And you at home, if you've been impacted by this, we're praying for you too.
Can I just say there's no equity in those prayers? We're praying for all of you.
Exactly.
That's right, everybody. Amen.
Everybody, yes, amen.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.